it's a global world out there, and it's very difficult to know everything that's going on in the world. But global entrepreneurs find threads through all that complexity to build new markets, find new customers, and build creative new industries and businesses. Global entrepreneurship really is a perspective. It's entrepreneurship across borders, across cultures, across peoples. It is a much broader perspective than traditional entrepreneurship, where the focus is on a relatively geographically constrained market and a relatively geographically constrained product set for that market. The challenge, of course, is that there are so many cultures, there are so many different laws, there are so many different ways of doing business around the world that global entrepreneurship can be much more complex than domestic entrepreneurship. There are some fantastic new markets that are emerging in the global entrepreneurship space. For example, communications, we're all familiar with cell phones. Renewable energy, there are lots of interesting ways that companies are thinking about delivering energy resources to parts of the world that currently don't even have enough energy to light a light bulb or run a radio. But entrepreneurs are finding ways to address the bottom of the pyramid. This is the billions of people in this world that don't have many of the necessities of life and certainly don't have the luxuries that we take for granted. And entrepreneurs are finding ways to create new markets and address these markets in new and exciting ways. As an example of global entrepreneurship at the bottom of the pyramid, there's one company, a not-for-profit organization it turns out, but they're economically viable and sustainable, is a company that's making cook stoves for the third world. Much of the world still cooks over wood fires. Wood fires cause enormous damage at the bottom of the pyramid, with lung disease, with fires, and a surprising number of people die every year from burns suffered on overcooked stoves and burning wood. This simple cook stove that's been designed by this company is cheap to build. It's very efficient. It is less polluting than traditional cook stoves. They're just open fires, and it can be delivered to customers, to people at the bottom of the pyramid in the third world at a much lower cost than other alternatives that are available. And so it's one of the things that particularly interests me is how entrepreneurship can be imbued in these new and emerging markets in ways that help people as well as build businesses and build economies. I really enjoy teaching about global entrepreneurship because it really resonates with students, and it really is an important topic for the future. We all want to leave the world better than we found it, and I think that global entrepreneurship is one way to do that. We can do well by doing good. If we can think of new products and services to deliver to people in our own country as well as around the world that make their lives better, then that's a very satisfying thing to have accomplished.